few minutes later, during which Luba carefully kept the laser tube on him, a large harness bull arrived in his archaic blue uniform with gun and star. All right, he said at once to Luba, put the thing away. She set down the laser tube and picked it up to examine it to see if it carried a charge. Now, what's been going on here? He asked her. Before she could answer, he turned to Rick. Who are you? He demanded. Lubaloof said. He came into the dressing room. I never seen him before in my life. He pretended to be taking a pull or something, and he wanted to ask me questions. I thought it was all right, and I said okay. Then he began asking me obscene questions. Let's see your identification, the harness bull said to Rick, his hand extended. As he got out his ID, Rick said, I'm a bounty hunter at the department. I know all the bounty hunters, the harness bull said as he examined Rick's wallet. With the SF Police Department? My supervisor, Inspector Harry Bryant, Rick said. I've taken over Dave Holden's list, now that Dave's in the hospital. As I say, I know all the bounty hunters, the harness bull said, and I've never heard of you. He handed Rick's ID back to him. Call Inspector Bryant, Rick said. There isn't any Inspector Bryant, the harness bull said. It came to Rick what was going on. You're an android, he said to the harness bull, like Miss Luft. Going to the vid phone, he picked up the receiver himself. I'm going to call the department. He wondered how far he would get before the two androids stopped him. The number, the harness bull said, is, I know the number, Rick dialed. Presently had the police switchboard operator. Let me talk to Inspector Bryant, he said. Who's calling, please? This is Rick Deckard. He stood waiting. Meanwhile, off to one side, the harness bull was getting a statement from Luba Luft. Neither paid any attention to him. A pause, and then Harry Bryant's face appeared on the vid screen. What's going on? He asked Rick. Some trouble, Rick said. One of those on Dave's list managed to call in and get a so-called patrolman out here. I can't seem to prove to him who I am. He says he knows all the bounty hunters department. He's never heard of me. He added, he hasn't even heard of you either. Bryant said, let me talk to him. Inspector Bryant wants to talk to you. Rick held out the vidphone receiver. The harness bull ceased questioning Miss Luth and came over to take it. Officer Krams, the harness bull said briskly. A pause. Hello. He listened and said hello several times, waited, then turned to Rick. There's nobody on the line and nobody on the screen. He pointed to the vidphone screen, and Rick saw nothing on it. Taking the receiver from the harness bull, Rick said, Mr. Bryant. He listened, waiting. Nothing. I'll dial again. He hung up, waited, and then redialed the familiar number. The phone rang, but no one answered it. The phone rang on and on. Let me try, Officer Cramp said, taking the receiver away from Rick. You must have misdialed. He dialed the number as 84. I know the number, Rick said. Officer Cram's calling in. The harness bull said into the phone, is there any Inspector Bryant connected with the department? A short pause. Well, about a bounty hunter named Rick Deckard. Again a pause. You're sure? Could he have recently? Oh, I see. Okay, thanks. No, I have it under control. Officer Krams rang off, turned toward Rick. I had him on the line, Rick said, to talk to him. He said he could talk to you. It must be phone trouble. The connection must have been broken somewhere along the way. Didn't you see? Bryant's face showed on the screen, and then it didn't. He felt bewildered. Officer Krams said, I have Miss Lu's statement, Deckard, so let's go down to the Hall of Justice so I can book you. Okay, Rick said to Luba Luft. He said, I'll be back in a short while. I'm not finished testing you. He's a deviant, Luba Luft said to Officer Krams. He gives me the creeps, she shivered. What opera are you practicing to give? Officer Krams asked her. The magic flute, Rick said. I didn't ask you. I asked her. The harness bull gave him a glance of dislike. I'm anxious to get to the Hall of Justice, Rick said. This matter should be straightened out. He started toward the door of the dressing room, his briefcase gripped. I'll search you first. Officer Krams deftly frisked him and came out with the Rick Service laser pistol. He appropriated both after a moment sniffing the muzzle of the pistol. This has been fired recently, he said. I retired in Andy just now, Rick said. The remains are still in my car up on the roof. Okay, Officer Krams said. We'll go up and have a look. As the two of them started from the dressing rooms, Miss Lou followed as far as the door. He won't come back again, Lee, officer. I'm really afraid of him. He's so strange. If he's got the body of somebody killed upstairs in his car, Cram said he won't be coming back. He nudged Rick forward, and together the two of them ascended by elevator to the roof of the Opera House. Opening the door of Rick's car, Officer Cram slightly inspected the body of Polikov. An android, Rick said. I was sent after him. He almost got me by pretending to be. They'll take your statement at the Hall of Justice, Officer Cram interrupted. He nudged Rick to his parked, plainly marked police car. There, by police radio, he put in a call for someone to come pick up Polikov. Okay, Deckard, he said, ringing off. Let's get started. With the two of them aboard, the patrol car zoomed up from the roof and headed south. Something Rick noticed was not as it should be. Officer Krams had steered the car in the wrong direction. The Hall of Justice, Rick said, is north on Lombard. That's the old Hall of Justice, Officer Krams said. The new one is on Mission. That old building, it's disintegrated into ruins. No one's used that for years. Has it been long since you last got booked? Take me there, Rick said, to Lombard Street. He understood it all now, saw what the androids working together had achieved. He would not live beyond this ride. For him, it was the end, as if it had almost been for Dave, and probably eventually would be. That girl's quite a looker, Officer Cramp said. Of course, with that costume, you can't tell about her figure, but I'd say it's damn okay. Rick said, admit to me that you're an android. Why? I'm not an android. What do you do? Roam around killing people, telling yourself they're androids? I can see why Miss Luke was scared. It's a good thing for her that she called us. Then take me to the Hall of Justice on Lombard. Like I said, I'll take about 3 minutes, Rick said. I want to see it every morning. I check in for work there. I want to see that it's been abandoned for years, as you say. Maybe you're an android, Officer Cramp said, with a false memory, like they gave them. Had he thought of that? He grinned frigidly as he continued his drive south, conscious of his defeat and failure. Rick settled back and helplessly waited for what came next. Whatever the androids had planned now that they had physical possession of him. But I did get one of them, he told himself. I got Polakov, and Dave got two. Hovering over a mission, Officer Cramp's police car prepared to send for its landing.